Notts County Talk, back with another match preview for Boreham Wood on Tuesday night at 7:45. It's going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. The form that Notts are in at the minute, the way they've been playing, because they've not stuck to just one style. They've really grinded out some results, and Saturday was one of those results that they did grind out, that 1-0 win against Woking. Boreham Wood, though, they've not had the best start. They are lower down in the league. I think they're about 17th. But in saying that, they did just beat Hartlepool 2-1 at Hartlepool. So, they're going to be looking to build on that. But I will hand over now to Tom for the stats and the players to watch.
Games are coming thick and fast at the minute, and we've got Boreham Wood. So, looking at the stats for both teams, how good does this feel? Notts are currently in third place. I always say this in my last few videos, but weeks ago, you wouldn't have dreamed Notts would be in third. We've had a fantastic run. Boreham Wood are in 17th. Now, Notts have 20 points, Boreham Wood have 12, so that just shows you 14 places separated by 8 points, and obviously with all of the implications of COVID and some teams missing quite a few games like Notts, some teams have missed even more like Solihull. Places can just be caught up really easily, so we've got to keep that in mind that now some teams may have a couple of games in hand over Notts, but on the whole, Notts have played less than most of the teams. Now, Notts unbeaten in 5, which is a fantastic run of results, and 3 clean sheets in a row. Now, in the last 3 games where we've kept the clean sheets, our goal has rarely been troubled at all for 270 minutes plus your added time. So that's really promising. Rawlinson and Turner are making a fantastic partnership at the back, and it's just allowing the pressure to be taken off the midfield so they can be a bit more creative and feed the attackers, because that defence is just solid at the minute. Now, we seem to be coming into a pattern of playing teams. We played a few teams like your Chesterfields that were scoring loads and conceding loads, and now we've gone into a pattern of playing teams like Dagenham and Boreham Wood, who we're coming up against, that just haven't really got many goals in any of their games. So Boreham Wood have scored 9 and only conceded 8. Now, they've played 9 games, so really you're looking at less than two goals a game, which isn't massive. And we saw it with Saturday's game against Woking, that it might just take 1 goal to win the game. It's going to be a very tight game. Boreham Wood are good defensively. They're a good team. We saw that last season, and some of the players they've got, their league position really doesn't reflect. Now, the last time we played them, it was the 2-2 at Meadow Lane. Now, if you remember that one, it was when 90th minute, their striker's running through and Rawlinson brings him down, gives away a penalty and a red, and it later came out that the tackle was actually outside the box. Poor decision from the referee, poor decision from the linesman, and that cost Notts the game. That was one of the worst feelings leaving a game of all last season, that it was just snatched away from us, and leaving the ground we could see that it was clearly outside the box. So they're the stats going into the game. It's going to be a tight one, and let's look at players to watch. So for this, I've got a defender, a midfielder and a striker. Now, the Boreham Wood midfielder we're going to be looking at is actually probably their man in form. It's Gus Mafata. Now, he is a midfielder. He scored 2 goals in his last game out, and he actually won the game. They won 2-1 away at Hartlepool. Now, Mafuta, he played for Hartlepool last season, so he's come up against his old club and he's haunted them. And that's something we always see in football that seems to happen, don't we? But 2 goals, midfield, last time out, banging form, banging confidence, is a man we've got to watch. And like I always say when I pick out a midfielder, he will be marshalled well by Reeves and Doyle, I'm sure. So they seem to do a great job of dominating midfield in games lately, especially. Next player is Kabongo Tishimanga. Now, aside from Boreham Wood having players that's named are really difficult for me to say, they've also got some really good players. So we all know about Tishimanga, 19 goals last season, 24 the season before for Oxford City. He's a goal scorer, he's a threat. We didn't deal well with goal scorers up until about after the Chesterfield game when Denton scored. Ever since then, we've been fantastic. Now, I think we can nullify him. He's not scoring massive amounts, but he's got the quality. We know he's got the quality. He's maybe just had a slow start to the season, like a lot of the Boreham Wood goal scorers, to be honest. So we'll just have to keep an eye out for him. Final player to watch, we're going to a defender. So Femi Ilesamani, another tricky player for me to say, but yeah, he's played every single league game this season. He played in the FA Cup. He can play across defence, and he's mostly a fullback, so that is where I feel, with Enzio in form, Walker, obviously not lately, but Roberts, I feel like Rodriguez drifts out wide. He's a key player, and that's going to be a key battle, the wings. If Notts can win the wing battle, then I think we'll have the game. But obviously, he's a player that's played well this season. He's decent for Boreham Wood, and he's definitely going to be one of their main men to watch.
Moving on to team news for Notts now. Now, Matty Wolf was mentioned in the post-match interview with Ardley, saying that he did pick up COVID. He was one of the players that had it, and he's supposed to have it quite bad. He is back in training now, and obviously with battling in place for the likes of Jim O'Brien, Reeves and Doyle, he's got some stiff competition, especially with, well, personally, Reeves and Doyle have been fantastic this season. I think every fan will agree. So it would be nice to see him sort of come into the squad. I can't really see it happening the way that Ardley was talking, because he was saying that he was getting good in training and he's not far off his first start. So to me, that would signify that this next game that he's not going to come into. I wouldn't be surprised to see Wes Thomas come back either, because I think he just needs some minutes, some game time into his legs to get him back up to scratch. But yeah, I will move on to our team selection. Now, one thing that Ardley did mention in his post-Woking, that Slocum was looking tired in the game prior to Woking, so that's why Pillion was on the bench. I'm hoping that he's recovered from that now, and he's feeling ready to go. So we've gone Slocum in goal, right back Brindley. I just think with the fullbacks, for me personally, I think it has to be Brindley and Kelly Evans. So Brindley on the right, Kelly Evans on the left. He's so versatile. They were saying it throughout the stream on Saturday. He's such a versatile player, Kelly Evans is. He's just happy to be on the pitch. I think McCrory was saying at half-time, he's just one of those players that he's happy to play and be in that starting lineup. So Brindley right back, Kelly Evans left back. He does a great job at left back, does Kelly Evans. Two centre-backs, sort of left without a choice at the moment, but the way that they've been playing and the clean sheets that we've had of recent, you can't really complain. So Turner and Rawlinson. Turner was a little bit clumsy, I thought, against Woking. Some misplaced passes. But hopefully he can sort of, pick it up a little bit. I mean, he doesn't really have to do too much, because obviously we're keeping the clean sheets and we're looking good, especially when it comes to set pieces and we're looking at covering the headers. Turner and Rawlinson are well up for that. So again, I've gone for 4-2-3-1 because it's working so well for us at the moment. So sitting in front of the back four, as always, Reeves and Doyle. They've pretty much played it every minute, I think, already this season, and I can't see much of that changing. They don't look like they're tiring. Reeves covers so much distance in a game. I said it in the last preview. He just gives everything into the match. So yeah, those two sitting in front of the defence, and three sort of attacking players sitting in front of the defensive midfielders. Got Enzio. He was fantastic against Woking when he came on. Really made that goal happen. He was strong. He was very selfless, and great assist for him and fair play to him. I feel like he's earned a start now. And on the other side, I've gone for Walker. I thought he was really good, really promising performance against Woking. I said it after the Woking in the instant reaction. He was a very good replacement for Roberts. Very similar sort of player where they sort of cut in and drop the shoulder and get past the player, and really good signing that seems to be. Hopefully we can extend it. And in the middle of those two, so like an attacking midfielder almost, I've gone for Ruben Rodriguez. He is just that player that I feel like links it all up. He makes it happen. He sort of fills that void between the defence and the attack. He's just that midfielder I felt like we lacked a lot in the relegation season, but we won't talk too much about that. And up top, the man who's on fire at the moment, Kyle Wootton. I said this as well in the instant reaction. I thought he needed to score against Woking because he had so many chances. He obviously missed the penalty, so his confidence would have been low. Carrying that onto the next game, it can weigh heavy. So I'm glad he got that goal. It lifts wiped all that doubt in his mind. But onto my prediction, I'm going for a 2-0 win to Notts and Walker to get 2. I'm feeling confident for him. He had a great performance against Woking, and I'm hoping he can build on it with a couple of goals. I will hand back over to Tom now for his prediction.
Moving on to my prediction then, I think it'll be a really, really tight game, and I'm just going to go for 1-0 Notts. I think it will be a game we'll be in control of mostly. I think we'll be frustrated scoring again, but I do think that our quality will just show in the end. Boreham Wood are a good team. They've been up there the last few seasons. They're really good. They've got some great players. They've got Shaquille Coulthurst from Barnet, who hasn't really hit the ground running just yet. Fantastic player. He's one I didn't even mention. So if Notts are to win, we're going to have to play really, really well. I think that the Notts goal scorer, I've gone Wharton a few games running. I went for Wharton last time. He got his goals, confidence is back, and I'm going to go for Carl Wharton again. He's got 6 goals this season. He's chasing down the top scorers. There's such an air of positivity around Notts at the minute. If we get a win here, then we're banging. I've tweeted earlier that I've looked at Torquay's next 6 games. Now Torquay are 8 points ahead. They've got some very favourable games. Yeovil twice, Dagenham, Maidenhead, Kings Lynn, and I think Wealdstone. Very favourable. So these next 6 games, we've got to keep in touch with them. Just chase them down. If after 6 games we're any closer than 8 points, I think that's a massive positive. So we carry on. Let's go. Another game unbeaten. If we go 4 clean sheets in a row after the start we had this season, then that will be absolutely brilliant.